Florida's Everglades have always been a place of paradox, wild, harsh, yet breathtakingly alive. For centuries, its tangled mangroves, endless sawgrass prairies, and humming cypress swamps pulsed with life. Alligators slid silently through black water. Bobcats padded along the banks. Rabbits, raccoons, and opossums darted through the reeds while herons and owls stalked from above. It was a wilderness shaped by delicate balance, where predator and prey played out a dance honed over millennia. But in the quiet shadows, something changed. An invader crept in, silent, unseen, unchallenged. At first, no one noticed. A handful of exotic pets released here, a few more set loose there, but by the time the truth became clear, it was too late. The Everglades had a new ruler, the Burmese python. These snakes were never supposed to be here. Imported from Southeast Asia in the mid-20th century, they were sold as exotic marvels, living decorations for glass tanks and living rooms. But when they grew too big, too strong, too dangerous, many owners simply opened the cage door and let them go. Hurricanes destroyed reptile facilities, accidents freed others, and in the swamps of Florida the python found paradise: warm winters, endless prey, and no natural predators. It was as if evolution had prepared Florida just for them. For years the invasion was invisible. Hatchlings slipped through reeds, growing quietly, feeding on lizards, birds, rabbits, but they didn't stop there. They grew larger, 15 feet, 18 feet, even 20 feet long, and with size came power. They squeezed the life out of raccoons, foxes, and deer. They took prey that once belonged to bobcats, panthers, even alligators. The Everglades, once so loud with life, fell silent. By the early 2000s, studies revealed a nightmare in numbers. In python-heavy areas, raccoons had declined by 99%, opossums nearly gone, bobcats down almost 90%, marsh rabbits erased, deer fawns swallowed whole, and with every loss came ripple effects. Birds that relied on small mammals for food began to starve. Seeds once spread by mammals lay dormant, changing the very shape of the land. Rodent populations exploded, carrying diseases closer to human homes. Even venomous snakes surged unchecked, slithering into backyards and barns, sending more people to hospitals. The balance was gone. The Everglades, once called the most intricate ecosystem in North America, seemed broken beyond repair. To many, the message was simple: it's over, Florida had lost. But in the face of despair, Florida tried something bold, something almost unthinkable. The solution, they said, was not poison, not traps, not endless hunting. It was more snakes. When the announcement broke, it ignited ridicule. Headlines screamed, "Florida to fight snakes with snakes." Talk show hosts laughed, and the internet turned it into a viral joke. Memes flooded social media. Only Florida would solve a snake problem by releasing more snakes. To the public, it looked like madness, but to biologists, it was a stroke of genius, because the snake they planned to release wasn't just any snake. It was a legend, the eastern indigo. Long, sleek, shimmering with blue-black scales, the eastern indigo snake was once the quiet guardian of the American Southeast. It was the longest native snake in North America, stretching over 8 feet. But unlike the python or rattlesnake, it carried no venom. Its power lay in its strength, and a gift no other snake could boast: immunity to venom. It feared no rattlesnake's rattle, no coral snake's warning colors. The indigo hunted them all, swallowing venomous snakes whole. It was a keystone predator, a living regulator of balance. Farmers once knew it as an ally, a creature that kept fields free of dangerous snakes and rodents. To people, it was shy, harmless, even gentle. But to venomous snakes and to the young pythons slipping into Florida's food web, it was death. And yet humans nearly destroyed it. Logging erased 90 million acres of longleaf pine forest, its primary home. Roads cut through its territory, killing countless snakes as they tried to cross. Collectors scooped them up for the pet trade, shipping them off to private tanks. Even rattlesnake-killing campaigns poisoned indigos by mistake. By 1978, the indigo snake was declared endangered, the first American snake ever to make the list. Florida's natural guardian was gone, and with it, balance slipped further away. But in 2017, the gamble began. Conservationists at the Orion Center for Indigo Conservation bred and raised young indigos, protecting them until strong enough to survive in the wild. Each snake spent 2 years behind glass and mesh, safe from predators. Then they were released into carefully chosen habitats like the Apalachicola Bluffs and Ravines Preserve. Each was tagged, tracked, and monitored, living test subjects in a radical experiment to bring back balance. The world scoffed, but nature responded. Released indigos wasted no time reclaiming their ancient role. They hunted rattlesnakes, copperheads, coral snakes, and cottonmouths. They reduced rodents that had overrun farms and spread disease. And most astonishing, they preyed on young Burmese pythons, cutting the invasion at its roots. Farmers noticed fewer rattlers. Locals reported fewer venomous encounters. The shift was slow, subtle, but real. And then came the moment of proof. In 2023, biologists stumbled upon something they hadn't seen in more than 40 years: 2 wild-born indigo hatchlings in Florida, not lab-raised, not released, born in the wild. For the first time in decades, indigos were breeding again. It was the turning point, proof that the gamble had worked. Florida's snake solution was no longer a punchline, it was a blueprint. The ripple spread beyond Florida. In Alabama, conservationists followed suit, releasing indigos into the Conecuh National Forest. In 2019, they too discovered a wild-born indigo hatchling, the first in 60 years. The comeback was real and it was spreading. But the story was bigger than just snakes. To save the indigo, scientists had to save its world, the longleaf pine forests, the gopher tortoises whose burrows provided shelter, and the delicate balance of fire and renewal that shaped the land. By protecting one species, they were reviving entire ecosystems. The lesson was clear: no species is saved in isolation. Today, more than 200 indigo snakes glide silently through Florida's forests, shining blue-black in the dappled light. To humans, they remain harmless and shy. But to nature, they are warriors. They keep venomous snakes in check. They regulate rodents. They strike at the roots of the python invasion. And their very presence signals something profound: the land is healing. The story that began with mockery has ended with vindication. Florida's gamble has become nature's answer. What once seemed reckless now serves as a model of conservation across the country. The eastern indigo snake, nearly erased from history, has returned as a symbol of resilience and hope. And perhaps the most important lesson is this: sometimes the boldest ideas, the ones that sound reckless, naive, or impossible, are exactly the ones the earth needs most. Florida's wild heart was never truly lost. It was waiting for its guardian to return.